Hi, I'm April from Blacksburg Belle, and today we're going to talk about charisma and how you can increase your charisma. Isn't that kind of exciting? I think this is a really fun topic. And if you want to be a good speaker, if you want to improve your presence on Facebook Live, Instagram Stories, if you want to do better on webinars, if you want to do better socially, if you want to have better dates. But if you want to improve your business, even if you want to feel more confident when you sit down to write a blog post or an email newsletter, you want to improve your charisma. So I am going to give you 10 tips on how to improve your charisma today. Before we jump into number one, I want to tell you that the 3 keys to charisma are presence, power, and warmth. You need to have all 3 of these things in order to be seen as charismatic. All 3. You can't have one missing and be seen as a very charismatic person. So you need to be present, you need to be powerful, and you need to be warm. And if you're those 3 things, then you will be seen as a very charismatic person. I can't teach you how to be super charismatic in just one video, but I can give you 10 ways to be more charismatic and how to improve it right away. Are you ready? Okay, let's go. Number 1 is gonna be easy. We just talked about how you have to be more present. So number 1 is literally to be more present. When somebody is talking to you, do not check your phone. When you are writing a blog post, do not check your email. When you are giving a speech, do not let your mind wander. When you are doing a webinar, do not let your thoughts drift. Do not go and check the chat. When you're teaching a slide, when you are doing a Facebook Live, try to stay on topic. Or if you are answering somebody's question, try to answer their question before you start to look at more of the comments. It's hard to do. I know it's really hard to do. I get it. I've been there. I get distracted easily on a Facebook Live or Instagram Live when more comments come in. I know. It's very difficult. But if you want to make the other person that you're talking to feel like you care about them and you want to come off as charismatic, you need to be present. Automatically, that person will see you as more charismatic. If you make them feel like the only person in the room, you've automatically stepped up your game. You are winning. You are standing out among the top 10%. Because most people are checking their phones. Most people are getting distracted. Most people are checking their email. Most people are thinking about the next thing they want to say. They're not listening to the person who's talking to them. They're not really listening. They're not really present because it's really hard to do. If you really struggle with this, my tip for you would be to meditate. I know. Most people don't want to meditate. Hello, my name is April. I don't want to meditate. I will say it with you. But that is something that will make you have more willpower. It will make you more charismatic. It will make you be able to be more present. It will make your life better. It will make you happier. It will improve so many areas of your life that it's worth it. So while I'm with you and I understand, I'm still gonna say, if you struggle with this, that is the thing that you should do. Because until you learn to be present with somebody, you're not gonna be seen as charismatic. there's no way you're gonna be seen as charismatic. Until you can sit down and write an email newsletter without checking your email every 10 minutes, you're not gonna write an email newsletter that knocks it out of the park and makes you a lot of money and that really, really nails it, and that so many of your subscribers email you back saying that they relate to it, that they loved it, that they couldn't stop reading it. You're not gonna do that until you can be present. You have got to be present. I know, it's not good news. It's not the best news ever. I know. I'm the bearer of bad news sometimes. I know. I should just wear a sign around my neck that says, bringing you bad news once again. But once you learn how to do this and you start practicing it day by day, you're gonna stand out among everybody else. Your competitors are gonna fall by the wayside because we have the attention span of goldfish now. So if you can be present, you will stand out. So presence, you need it. Number 2, we're talking about presence. So one of the things you have to do is deal with physical discomfort. Whenever you are physically uncomfortable, it's gonna show in your body language. It's gonna show on your face. Even if you're trying really hard to not show it on your face, you can't help but not show it. It's just gonna show. It's just gonna come through. So if you're uncomfortable, it's going to show through. And even if you're feeling confident, let's say you're in an interview or you are speaking and you are really doing a great job and you're confident and you're feeling good mentally, but you are physically uncomfortable, it's going to be a mismatch because mentally you're feeling good, physically you feel really uncomfortable. And then what happens when these two things mismatch? People don't trust you because they see something is amiss. Something is amiss, so what is going on? So how do you deal with it? Well, you can either say something so that people understand that you're physically uncomfortable. So you can say something like, oh gosh, that light in my eyes. You can say something about the physical discomfort so they know why you're squinting and they know why that's happening, so they don't read it as something else going on, because people read things completely wrong. We're gonna get to that in a little bit, but we read things completely wrong. We often read them as pertaining to us. So let's say you are in an interview and there is a bright light and you're squinting and the person's talking. They may think that you really dislike something that they're saying. And if you don't say something about the bright light, they're gonna think that you don't agree with what they're saying. And that could ruin the interview. Or you could move and adjust where you're sitting so that the light isn't in your eyes. So you wanna try to be as physically comfortable as you can be. Think about that when you are making choices about what you wear and all of those kinds of decisions. You want to be thinking about that. But also when you're in the moment. If I'm, let's say, sitting down to write a blog post and every 5 minutes I'm uncomfortable because I haven't eaten anything, I might as well stop and eat something and then come back to the blog post. Otherwise, it's not going to be that good of a blog post. Let's be honest. If every 5 minutes I'm thinking about the fact that I want to eat something, or I'm cold, or the mosquitoes are biting my legs, because that's happened before. It's happened before where I've been writing a blog post and mosquitoes have been biting my legs. And it was really uncomfortable. Not even joking, that has happened to me. So I put on pants. I was wearing a really cute skirt and I put on pants. Anyways, the point is you want to be physically comfortable. Otherwise, you can't be present. So tip number 2 is to be physically comfortable. Tip number 3 is to deal with your negative emotions. Just like physical discomfort, negative emotions like anxiety or shame, they're gonna show all over, and the other person is gonna read it as if it has something to do with them. And it often has everything to do with you and not them. And you don't want them to think it has to do with them. So how are you gonna deal with the negative emotion that is gonna show up all over yourself if you don't deal with it? So this is how you're gonna deal with it. You are gonna remind yourself that you are not alone. It often feels very lonely to feel negative emotions like anxiety and overwhelm and stress and shame. You feel like you're the only person, but if you can remember that there are probably a million other people on the earth who are also feeling that exact same way, right at that very moment, it can feel like you're connected to those other people, and you feel a sense of relief and connection, and almost alleviates that feeling. It at least breathes in a sense of calm, a sense of I can let a little bit of this go, and you can kind of let it go and get kind of rid of the tenseness in your face and in your body. So remind yourself that there are people all over the earth that feel the exact same way that you do right at that very moment. Tip number 4. Tip number 4 piggybacks on tip number 3. Let's say that didn't do it for you. So reminding yourself that you're not alone, that you're not the only person who feels like that, didn't get rid of those negative emotions. Then you're gonna keep going. You're gonna keep going because it's really important that you deal with negative emotions, or else you are not gonna be seen as charismatic. If you're feeling anxiety, if you're feeling stress, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling anger, if you're feeling those things in the moment, you are not gonna be seen as charismatic. You're just not. So you've got to get yourself out of that, at least for the time being. Listen, we all feel those things at some point or another, but for the time being, you've got to resolve it. What you're going to do is you're going to remind yourself that what you think the reality is often wrong. For instance, just like you squinting at a bright light isn't you disliking what somebody else is saying, does not mean that somebody else across from you squinting at you doesn't mean that they disagree with what you're saying. So you don't need to start feeling anxious that they want to get away from you, that they don't like what you're saying, that whatever it is. So you need to remind yourself that whatever is making you feel that way could possibly be untrue, and is often untrue. And then you need to come up with an alternate reason, or multiple alternate reasons. The person squinting is holding in a fart. They have gas. The person squinting has a headache. The person squinting has bad eyesight and forgot their glasses, or doesn't want to wear their glasses because they feel self-conscious in them. The person squinting sees their spouse across the room talking to a person of the opposite sex and thinks that they might be flirting. It could have nothing to do with you. Nothing at all. Could have absolutely nothing to do with you. So you're going to say to yourself that whatever you're feeling related to whatever the situation is could be completely untrue, and you are going to come up with alternate reasons. Let me give you another scenario. Let's say you are in the middle of a webinar, and all of a sudden you see that your attendees go from about 50 people to about 30 people. And you have no idea why this happened. But all of a sudden you start to feel really stressed out. You think it is because you're boring, you have messed up somehow, your content must suck, it's obviously because of you, right? You're gonna think it's obviously something that you did. You need to, in that moment, get it together because you've still got 30 people watching you and with you. So you need to say, hey, it could be nothing to do with me. It could be that we've had a technical glitch that has kicked these people off. There could be some technical error that pushed these people out of the webinar. There could be some reason that all of a sudden it dropped like that. I cannot assume that it was me that all of a sudden this many people left. And you need to go with that because otherwise you are going to ruin it for the 30 people who are still with you. This is really hard to do in the moment, but the more you do it, the better you're gonna get at it and the more charismatic you will be. And you will save that webinar. That's the important thing. The important thing are the 30 people who are still there. Not the 20 people who left, but the 30 people who are still there. Tip number 5 is to practice visualization. I recently wrote a blog post about this, so I'm just gonna link that down below and move on to tip number 6. But read that blog post if you are interested. Tip number 6 is to practice gratitude and compassion. If you practice gratitude and compassion, you are going to become more warm. And remember, that is one of the 3 things that you need to be in order to be very charismatic. You need to be grateful and compassionate in order to be a warm person. Whenever you find yourself feeling resentful, frustrated, try to find some sort of compassion for the person across from you. Even if you can only find one thing about them that you feel compassion for, that will bring warmth back into you instead of feeling that resentment and frustration. On a daily basis, practice gratitude. One of the things that I do at the end of the night, my husband and I share our top 3. And our top 3 are the 3 things that we are the most grateful for or the best moments of our day from that day. And they can be really small things. They might be that I got 10 minutes to cuddle with one of my dogs, and I wore a top that I really enjoy, and that I got a really nice text message from my mom. But those are 3 wonderful things to be grateful for. You can do it like that. You don't have to have a big gratitude practice. You don't have to have a gratitude journal. You can do something where you just think of 3 things in the evening before you go to bed. You could think of 3 things that you're grateful for when you wake up in the morning, when you're brushing your teeth. Maybe you do it when you're brushing your teeth so that every time you brush your teeth, it's linked with you are practicing gratitude and you're thinking about what you're grateful for. Every time you wash your face or when you're in the shower, you just need to have something where it's linked to your thinking about gratitude. Tip number 7 for increasing your charisma is to have a warm-up plan. No matter if you are going to a speaking engagement or an interview or sitting down to write a blog post or getting warmed up for a Facebook Live or a webinar, you should have a warm-up plan. For a blog post, I have a very simple warm-up plan. I brew a cup of tea, I light a candle, I sit down, I open up my Google Doc, and that is my warm-up plan. But it gets me pumped up, it gets me ready to write a blog post, it gets my brain in that mode. I also make sure my email is closed. I don't want to see when I get another notification because then it will make my brain go, check it, check it, check it, check it, check it, check it, check it. And you don't want to give yourself those temptations. You should have warm-up routines and warm-up plans for yourself so that you get yourself pumped up and in the right frame of mind. You should also keep yourself from negative things. So if you know, for instance, that talking to a certain person is going to put you in a negative state of mind, avoid that person. Don't talk to your mom before a big speaking engagement if you know your mom is going to tell you, well, why are you doing that anyways? You should be focusing on your day job or whatever it is. Then don't talk to mom until afterwards. Or if you know that certain songs get you down, don't listen to those certain songs. Have your positive songs on a specific playlist and listen to those. Try to keep yourself in your positive bubble, warming up for whatever it is that you are warming up for. Especially if you know that your anxiety increases before something. If you are getting ready for a social event and you know that you're going to be anxious beforehand, then you should definitely have a warm-up plan so that you can increase your charisma and lower your anxiety. Whether that's just to relax and be calm and make sure that you're going to be ready early so that you're not rushing, so that you can get there early and sit in your car and listen to a really great song or a couple of songs that you like, and you can touch up your lipstick and you can sit with your air conditioner and you don't feel like you had to rush through your house and you had to break out into a sweat in order to rush around and get all of the things, and then you couldn't find your favorite lip gloss and so you had to go without it and now you don't feel your best. You want to make sure that you feel your best, that you've got your warm-up plan so that you are going into the situation at a level 10. Always. It never hurts to give it your best, right? Number 8, to be seen as really charismatic, you need to have a great handshake. I'm gonna teach you how to have a great handshake right here, right now. Okay, let's do it. First of all, you want to offer your hand like this, vertically. You do not want to offer it like this. This makes you seem weak. You don't want to offer it like this. That makes you seem aggressive and dominant. So you want to offer your hand like this, and you want to make sure it's as dry as possible. So give yourself a little wipe if you need to. My hands get sweaty, so I feel you sweaty people out there. I'm with you. I'm one of you. I understand what it's like. So what I usually do when I have a drink with me is I hold a cocktail napkin so I can give it a little crunch and then hold my hand out so that I don't have to give anybody my sweat-soaked hand, because nobody likes that. So you want to offer a dry hand, you want to offer a vertical hand, you want to give them a nice non-flimsy, nobody likes a dead fish hand. You don't want to be offering this, oh, it's so nice to meet you. This is not nice. Dead fish hand is not nice. Nobody likes this. This is not fun. Nobody likes this either. You don't want to get super aggressive, just nice and firm. And yes, if you do the double, know that if you are shaking somebody's hand and then you put your hand over top, that's seen as touchy-feely and aggressive. That's an aggressive move. So just know that that's what you're putting out there. That's an aggressive handshake. So charismatic handshake is vertical, dry, firm, look them in the eye, smile, warmth. You're being present, you're being warm, and you're being powerful, all at the same time. Great handshake. 2 thumbs up. Super cheesy? Now I am going to give you the 9th tip. I'm going to tell you how you can, with your voice, become more warm or become more powerful, or seem more warm or more powerful. If you want to seem more warm, all you need to do is either think about smiling or smile, and you will come across as more warm. That's all you need to do when you're talking. If you want to seem more powerful, what you should do is you should talk slower, insert pauses in between your sentences, and end them at a lower intonation than you start. So you don't want to end them as if it's a question. You want to end them as if you are making a point. That is seen as powerful. So those are the way to come across as more powerful when you're talking and more warm when you're talking. And the last tip I am going to give you to be more charismatic, I am going to show you how to project power with your body and how to project warmth with your body. If you want to come across as more powerful, you want to take up more space with your body and you want to be still. So you want to take up as much space as possible. You can't tell it, but I spread out my legs when I was saying that. I might put my hands on my hips. I'm gonna hold my arms out, but I'm also gonna start to be still when I'm talking. I'm not gonna make as many hand gestures, and that's how I'm gonna come across as more powerful. I'm gonna slow down. That's how you come across as more powerful in your body language. Now, when you want to come across more warm and display more warmth, this is how you do it. You are going to give people their personal space and you're going to make sure that they feel comfortable with you. So if you're talking to somebody, you want to make sure that they have their personal space. You want to relax your eyes. A lot of times when I get really excited about something, I'll open my eyes really big. If you guys can tell on my videos, I do this a lot. I'll open my eyes really big because I get really excited to talk about things. And I will do this in person when I'm talking to somebody too, when I get really excited about something and I have to remind myself to relax my eyes. And this is something I have to remind myself to do because when I get excited, my eyes get so big. I just can't help it. I'm like, I want to tell you about all the things I'm excited about. Come here really close to me. And that's not seen as warm. That's seen as overeager and not charismatic at all. So you're gonna give them personal space. You are gonna relax your eyes and you are gonna mirror their body language. Not always. So as I'm doing this, you're not gonna also do this. That would be really weird, okay? But if they're kind of leaning on one hip, you lean on one hip. And if they're talking like this, don't do that. You might do a little bit of your hand, you might open up your hands as they're opening up their hands and doing a lot of hand gestures and they're talking. You could do that, but you don't want to do everything they're doing, but you mirror their body language. That shows warmth, and you relax your eyes. Depends on what situation you're in, what you want to do more of, and what is going to work best in what situation. And really, you want to find a way to put them all together to work the best. So you may find that you want to give somebody their personal space and keep your eyes relaxed and mirror their body language a bit, but you also want to take up space and show them that you're in charge because you want them to feel comfortable with you because you're in the power position of whatever it is. And you want them to know that you've got this and you can handle it. You're consulting with them and you're the one who has all the answers and is supposed to have all the answers. So you want to make sure that they understand that. So you're mimicking some of their body language, but you're also taking a power position. And so you're taking up more space and you're showing them that you're comfortable and you're being more still. And you are talking in a way where you are more calm than they are and you're pausing more and you are showing them with your voice what's most important. And that's how you direct the conversation. And you show them that you're warm and powerful and present. You want to be all three of those things. And you have to remember that you want to be all three of those things. I hope that this video was very helpful to you. Again, it's more than these 10 tips, but if you start taking these 10 things and putting them together, you are gonna absolutely increase your charisma, and I'm really excited for you. I hope this helps you feel a lot more confident when you're walking into your next social engagement, your next speaking engagement, your next interview, getting ready for your next webinar, your next Facebook Live, your next Instagram Live, because we all have charisma within us. We're all awesome people. We just need to pull it out of ourselves. We all have something to offer. We all just need to harness what we have and show people what we have to offer. You have it already inside of you. You just need to figure out how to show people what you have to offer. And that's what this is all about. I'm April from Blacksburg Belle. I will see you again soon with another blog post and another video. Bye for now. Keep snapping. I can only snap with this hand. I can't with this hand. It's weird, right? Okay. Superhero pose. We need to move it along, April, move it along. Get this eyeshadow. The end.